This is from NBC. It says NBC News cannot verify what occurred before or after the events shown in the video. Well, I think we know what happened after. George Barnhill, one of the prosecutors who first handled the case, defended the actions of the McMichaels and their neighbor in the truck. Okay, so he is the neighbor. So it was a threesome. In a letter to the Glenn County Police Department obtained by NBC News, Barnhill wrote that the men had solid first-hand probable cause to chase Arbery, a burglary suspect, and stop him. That's interesting, though, that he's putting his name on the line like that. He's putting his credibility because he's still on the job. He just recused himself from this case, but what are they not telling us? Is this a situation where there's more to it and the facts just haven't come out yet? Because to put your name on something like this out there in a public forum, especially with the circumstances and knowing how people get heated over these kinds of issues and how the media always tries to play them up to further create that divide amongst black and white that they love to do. If you're putting your name on this, then you better be sure, Mr. Barnhill, that there's something there that we haven't heard yet. And again, maybe you hear something by the time you're watching this video. Maybe I'm missing something that I haven't heard yet. Barnhill also said that after he watched the video of the incident, given the fact that Arbery initiated the fight and grabbed the shotgun, he believed Travis McMichael was allowed to use deadly force to protect himself under Georgia law. All right, so here's the part that always gets me here. And they may just be hyping this up. I don't know how true this is, or would charges have come anyway, because they have been arrested since this story came out, or the first part of it I talked about. Arbery's death sparked nationwide outrage, with many activists, politicians, and celebrities, sharing a social media post urging people to contact the Liberty County prosecutors to demand that the McMichaels be charged. And that's the stuff I would have an issue with if that were true. Some intervention, maybe, but if activists, because that's all they do. They just go around crying all the time. Politicians, celebrities, the same kind of thing. They'll just cry all the time when there's that narrative, and you know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to go into it. When there's that narrative that they can hype it up and just, like I said, create that further division. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp called the video of the shooting absolutely horrific and said Georgians deserve answers. I have full confidence in Vic Reynolds and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Kemp said. I know that they will be working around the clock to thoroughly and independently investigate Mr. Arbery's death to find the truth. Useless stooge Joe Biden, the apparent Democratic presidential nominee, called Arbery's death a grave injustice during a virtual roundtable with African American lawmakers in Florida on Thursday. Oh, so a virtual roundtable. So it was just black people. There were no Latino, Hispanics, no whites, no Asians there. Interesting. That's an interesting round table there you got. Seems like more of a square table to me. This family and the country deserves justice, and they deserve it now. They deserve a transparent investigation of this brutal murder. That much I can agree with. Transparent investigation is what we deserve and what we're waiting for. Justice, that's in the eye of the beholder or the individual saying justice, right? Obviously for Biden, a gentleman who never misses an opportunity to get on his knees for some of that, round table D, it certainly is no surprise that he came out and got on his knees and started gobbling like he always does. He says here, but our nation deserves it as well. We need to reckon with this. This goes on. These vicious acts call to mind the darkest chapters in our history. No, it doesn't. Not for me, and I'm sure it doesn't call to your mind either, that kind of stuff. Totally different circumstances. I've heard individuals out there trying to say, oh, this is lynching. I'm like, we'll see. I'm always one that wants to pump the brakes a little. And like I said in my other videos, that's why I wait a couple days, a day or two after something big breaks, because so many times we've been led down this path. And generally speaking, when the media puts out a story, to get us hyped up and, like I said, to create that division, that animosity amongst the races, they're wrong almost every time. And people, it's the same people every time. They just never learn. They just react, and they're just so stupid. I heard that there's this dummy NBA player. He's always out there running his mouth every time something happens. He's this idiot LeBron James. Every time something like this happens, he's out there. So his quote, or his tweet, I should say, was, "They always try to hunt us down every day." Dude, you're worth $500 million. You live in a community full of millionaires and billionaires. Who's trying to hunt you down? Nice try. Nobody's believing that stuff. Don't act like you're the average black or white dude on the street who is seeing kind of crime happen. I bet this guy lives in a gated community. He's probably got a $30 million home. Come on. Don't act like anybody's trying to hunt you down, baby. Nobody's believing it. It's the same people. It's the same celebrities. It's the same news and media every time. And they just never learn. How many times can they be wrong? Maybe this time they'll be right. The last, 5, 6, 7 times they've been wrong. The media hoaxes are out there. I don't want to call them hoaxes, but just the way they get people hyped up to create that animosity. Like I said, Covington, you can probably name more than me. So there was Covington, you had the Eric Garner stuff, you had, the pants up, don't loot guy in Ferguson. You had that dummy in Florida who got himself killed over some Skittles and iced tea. Wasn't that what it was? Every time this happens, now each individual on the different sides of the argument can have that debate that they want, but the point I'm making is every time the media comes out and puts the story out there, it's never as dramatic as they make it seem. It's just like they just blast you 24/7 with this stuff, and that's why I don't really watch the media anymore. I don't watch the news. And like I said, I even try to stay off of other YouTube videos if they're going to talk about something I'm going to talk about. I would just caution individuals just to relax. Just let's wait. Let's let the facts come out and let's see what happened. That said, I kind of gave my own take on things a little bit earlier. And this is from my perspective. There better be damn good evidence. There better be burglary tools in hand. There better be TVs underneath his arms. There better be cash and jewelry coming out of his pockets. Like the end of the Goonies movie. Who was it, Chunk? Was it Chunk where he had some of the jewelry in his mouth? Was it him? Maybe it wasn't him. I'll have to look into that. But actually, maybe it wasn't Chunk. Maybe it was the character played by Corey Feldman. I can't remember his name right now. Mouth? Was his name Mouth? Yeah. I think it might have been him that had some of the jewels in his mouth at the end. But that better be the situation. And it needs to be happening to you if you're going to get out there with the shotgun and chase somebody down. I get the whole citizen's arrest, within your rights, Georgia law to carry your gun, open carry. Yeah, I get all that. I think it was overkill. And I think what you're going to have is, even if you have a situation where, let's say the facts are what they are right now, let's say that everything happened like what we've read and what we've seen in the video, that there was no difference in what we've been led to believe so far, that these individuals suspected Ahmaud of burglaries from the night before. They loaded up the truck when they saw him that next day, that perhaps he was in the commission of a crime. We're just assuming here. They tried to chase him down to talk to him. He didn't stop. They pulled ahead of him. We saw that much in the video. Ahmaud makes a dash for it around the other side of the truck, which is what we saw, and he goes for the gun. Let's assume, for sake of argument, that everything happened just that way, that there were no other mitigating factors. Question is, and this is what would be for the jury, and again, I'm thinking about this as if I were on the jury. What was the purpose of taking the gun? If you've got 3 guys with you, and you just see one guy, and you think that he's the guy, and you're telling me that you and 2 other of your boys couldn't handle one dude, couldn't make that citizen's arrest on one dude, what was going to happen? You were just going to pull him over, tell him to get on his knees and hold the shotgun on him until the cops came? You're telling me that you couldn't go at it without a gun. I'm just saying, guns are our right, no doubt. Like I said, I always support 2A people. Those are our rights within the Constitution, and I would never say otherwise. I would just say that it seems like a bit much. It's a bit heavy here. you've got two of your other guys with you. I know he's an older gentleman, and it seemed like Ahmad was in good shape. Maybe they saw a dude in good shape, but I don't know. It's just three guys. You'd think that they could have handled it without a weapon, because think about this. What if it's me, you, and one other person, and this guy gets the shotgun? Say he was the criminal, and he gets the shotgun from me, and he ends up blasting all of us. What good does that do, right? I'm just saying that in situations, yeah, guns are needed. But in certain circumstances, you have to use your head a little bit, because even if everything goes the McMichael's way here and everything kind of lines up and it turns out that somehow a jury hears all of this evidence and they do find them not guilty of the murder, which that may be a tough charge to stick, like a first degree. I don't know what they're going to go with. I guess they'll figure that out later. First degree, second degree manslaughter, whatever way the Georgia system works. First degree may be hard to come by, but you have to imagine that if the fact pattern lines up like what we've been led to believe, the logical part that we've been led to believe, not the media's sensationalization, of course, but if that fact pattern turns out to be true or pretty close to true, you find it pretty hard to believe that they're not going to end up with some kind of jail time out of this. I mean, the guy in the car, probably not. The son, maybe not. He did fire a shot, but it's just a situation where once you get that weapon involved in a situation like this, no good can come of it. So again, 2A, baby, I'm with it all the way. If you see somebody raping somebody, a man or a woman, you see somebody taking a kid, you see somebody trying to kill your family member, like I said, somebody's pimp slapping your mama around, yeah, blow that motherfucker's head right off. Self-defense, baby. That's what guns are for. But in some circumstances, I would just say you've got to think logical, because this is a real fucked up situation. That's a real situation for the McMichaels, and a guy's dead. Maybe he was just jogging down the road. Who knows? Maybe he wasn't even him. It's a mess. We've got to follow this, obviously, going forward, but I would just, like I said, caution to have some restraint. Let's hear what's going on. Let's wait to see if there's more details and stuff like that. Caution, everybody. Caution. We've been lied to. We've been manipulated by the media so many times that whenever they tell me something, I usually know to go the opposite direction. And I'm sure you individuals know that as well. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Take care. Hope you all are doing well and have a good weekend.